Our next guest is now going to talk to us about a very cool subject, about all the opportunities that there are for you in artificial intelligence. We're going to learn about the skills you need to fill the roles and the jobs that are going to be on demand in the future, and what everything that the AI industry has to offer you and the pathways to get there. Frincy Clement is a machine learning practitioner and AI community leader, currently working in the business intelligence team at TELUS Business Solutions. A strong believer in giving back to the community, she is also part of Women in AI, a community-driven nonprofit working towards a globally beneficial, gender-inclusive artificial intelligence. Please join me in welcoming Frincy to the stage.
Thank you, Laura, for that great introduction. Hello, everyone. I am so pleased to be here at the Campus Digital Party Canada to talk about what I love doing the best. So today, we are going to focus on understanding what are the different career paths that is there in AI. Few years back, I was in a position where I did not find a lot of resources or some guidance on where to start. The materials out there was so overwhelming. So I've put together some content for you that I feel might be helpful to reach a career in artificial intelligence. So let me talk a bit about myself. So as Laura mentioned, I am the ambassador for Canada at Women in Artificial Intelligence. We are a nonprofit global community of women AI professionals. I'm also a senior data scientist at TELUS Business Solutions. So previously, my roles were in a mix of business and marketing and software engineering. And my education is also a mix of technical and business. So Women in AI is the community partner for Campus Digital Canada. And I would like to take a minute just to talk about who we are. Women in AI is a nonprofit, global community of women in artificial intelligence. And our mission is to bridge the gender gap and to increase female participation in artificial intelligence. So we started in 2016 in Paris, France, and currently we have grown over 8,600 members globally with presence in 140 countries, and it is growing every day. So we were launched in Canada last year, and currently we are celebrating our first year anniversary. We are so proud of what we have achieved in the last year. We have around over 600 members in Canada, the majority of which are masters and PhDs. And we try to move towards our goal of increasing female participation by conducting several events and activities on inspiring and educating and mentoring and connecting women AI professionals from around the globe. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit our website, womeninai.co. So let's talk about AI. So today we'll be covering a bit about AI lifecycle, the key tasks that is involved in the whole AI lifecycle and the skills required for them, and my take on how to get there and some tips from what I've learned through my journey. So why do we need to talk about AI careers? So if you look at the LinkedIn emerging jobs from last year, the top one job that is in demand is of AI specialist. It is growing over 80% year over year. And you can see that the roles of data scientists and data engineers are also similarly growing. So that is why this is the right time to get into a career in artificial intelligence. Now, when we talk about AI, there is machine learning, there is data science, there's a lot of different technical terms. I would like to just touch upon how they are similar or different from each other. So artificial intelligence is like an umbrella term where it looks at the intelligence shown by machines to perform tasks that are typically done by humans. So machine learning is like a subset of AI where we don't have to actually program the machines, but it learns by itself. In deep learning, it's again a further subset of machine learning where it uses artificial neural networks to perform those tasks. Now, when you talk about data science is like a multidisciplinary field which uses all of these techniques to solve a business use case or a business problem. Now, if you look at the AI life cycle, we always start from a business understanding. So you look at your domain of business, you look at your problems that are there, and try to identify use cases that can be solvable by using AI. Now, when you have your problem defined, you would look at the data sources that is available to you, whether you have the right data to solve the right problem using AI. Once you've identified the data, then you go into data engineering phase, where you will transform and prepare your data in a format that can be used for analysis. So once you have the data, you try to explore deep into the data to get some patterns or signals that can try to solve your business use case. So after your data is ready, you would go into preparing your features and models, and then the process between data, features, and models are iterative. So you go back and forth to your data and come back to your models until you find your right model, which is best for your business use case. Now, once you've identified your model, then you would deploy it in a way that is usable by the business. Now, the job is not yet over with deployment. You would still need to ongoingly monitor your models in production so that any deviation from the model performance can be captured. So the key task in an AI lifecycle can be divided into 5. So it'll start with data engineering, modeling, deployment, and business analysis. So some of the key skills that you can generally put together are these. So in data engineering, you would look at preparing and transforming your data. So you're mainly looking at Python and SQL and other query languages, which can take your data and process in such a way that can be used for the next step. These days, because of this, the scale in data, there's a lot of demand in big data as well. So like PySpark or Spark is mostly used for our day-to-day jobs in data engineering. Now, for modeling, you are looking at Python, R, or C++, Java. And for deep learning, you are looking at PyTorch or TensorFlow understanding. Then for deployment as well as AI infrastructure, there needs to be a solid understanding on building a scalable solution from your models. So you're looking at understanding Docker containers or container orchestrations like Kubernetes or cloud solutions. So if you're familiar with at least one of the cloud solutions out there, then you will be able to transfer those skills to any other provider, and that will be very good for creating a AI model end-to-end and deploying it into production. Then comes business analysis, which is mostly visualization and analyzation skills. Now, if you look at the roles in an AI team, based on the different tasks associated, no single individual can do everything. So based on the roles available in the market, you can see that the most common one you would see is data scientist or machine learning engineer. So for a data scientist, you are mostly looking at an understanding of data engineering. So you need to prepare your data and also create models out of it, and then present it to the business in a way that they can understand. Now, if you look at machine learning engineer, you are also looking at building that model end to end. That is not just experimenting and finding the right model, but you need to also have the engineering skills to put that into a production, into an AI product that can be used by the business or your end users. Now, if you look at data analysts, it's more of like an entry level to data scientists. So that means you are looking at their data and understanding patterns. So it is easier for a data analyst or a data engineer to move into data science or machine learning role. Then you're looking at software engineering and machine learning. So now you may ask, what is the difference between machine learning engineer and a software engineer in machine learning? So software engineering machine learning is more of a person with a bit of machine learning understanding, but also a strong software engineering understanding. Because that person would be that end piece that would connect data scientists to the end product that you will be creating. Then you have your researcher position as well. So for that, you're not really looking at moving your models into production, but you're looking at testing a hypothesis, testing a use case, and finding a good solution for it, and proposing that as a journal or in a conference. So machine learning researcher is more focused about algorithms and the statistics and the machine learning behind it. So the next slide would talk about my take on how can you get into a career in artificial intelligence. So the first or the foundational thing that you need is knowledge. So programming skills is a must if you want to be in a data science or machine learning role. Then you also need to have machine learning understanding, and sometimes domain understanding is a must because the models are there, you have all your metrics, but how do you make your business understand what this models means, what the output means? So you need to have that skill to convert all your model performance to a business metric in terms of your capex or your revenue increase or your cost reduction in a way that the business can understand. So business understanding is also required for in a data science role. So after you have the skills, how do you showcase to your hiring managers? So master's or PhD is a great option if you really want to put that tag that you have the skills and you have the degree in data science or AI. You can also do a lot of projects yourself to create a portfolio just for yourself as a data scientist or machine learning engineer. So what I mostly do is I would try to find out some use cases that is interesting to me and look at the use cases or data that is available out there in Kaggle or some other data sources and find a solution like through the modeling, and to the end, we'll prepare a solution, put together in GitHub 2 to 3 projects that can become your portfolio, which can show to your hiring managers that you have enough skills and knowledge to get into that career. Now, if you're looking in a research field, of course, you're looking at getting a PhD because PhD is mostly required for research roles. There are so many avenues out there for publications, for journals and conferences, which can help you to boost your profile. So some of the starter courses that I have taken are these from Coursera and Udemy. These gave me a foundational understanding on what is machine learning, what is deep learning. Now, when you get this knowledge, you are also required to apply in some use cases, in some competitions, which will help you develop your practical skills in AI. So if you're not a programmer, can you still enter a career in AI? So let's talk about that. So if you are a product owner or a project manager or a business consultant or a business or even a salesperson, right? You can still enter a career in AI as an AI product manager or an AI project delivery manager. So what do you need to get into that particular role? So these are some of the courses that I can suggest, which I have put together by talking to the product managers and project managers in my team. So the first thing you need to understand is you need to understand what is AI, what are the different applications out there, and how can AI enable my business or my domain. Now, once you get the initial understanding, you can also do some hands-on exercises by doing some courses which doesn't require a lot of programming knowledge. At the end, you should also understand how an AI product lifecycle is different from a software development lifecycle. So you can go and try some Agile or Scrum Master courses, and this will enable you to prep you into a career in AI without programming knowledge. Now, if you're in neither of these, you can still look at entrepreneurship phase if you are interested in any sort of startup, like bringing your own startup idea. So I'm not that of an expert in the startup world, but what I can suggest is, if you have a great idea, but you don't know where to start, how to do, or bring your product together, there are so many opportunities in Canada, which are federally funded, which are privately funded, which is out there to help you take your idea, bridge that gap, and put it into a product that is sellable in the market. So there are accelerators, there are incubators. In Toronto and Montreal, there is Next AI, then there is Creative Destruction Lab, there is Startup Edmonton, Tech Edmonton, Innovate Calgary, Invest Ottawa. There are so many different ways that you can get into your entrepreneurship journey. If you have an amazing idea, that is possible to generate revenue, and you can put it out in the market. Now, what else can you do other than all of these? So I strongly suggest to be part of a community that can help foster your relationships with your peers or similar minds in AI. So what's the best thing that you would get out of a community? You can find a mentor. I personally found that getting the right mentor would help you take your current level in your journey to a position or a dream career journey, because they have already gone through that path. They can tell you what needs to be done, what courses or what paths need to be taken to a role that you really need. So these are some of the communities that is out there, like globally and locally, like women, for gender diverse, community. There are women in AI, women in machine learning. There are so many out there. You can join one of them, which are global networks. You can also go and meet any local communities out there, which is there in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. Any city you take, you will be able to find your local meetups. Of course, with COVID, not everybody is active, but at least a lot of them are virtual right now. And this is the best way I've found that you will be able to network, learn more about the career paths, and connect with your hiring managers. Now, with that, I would conclude my session right now. Thank you.
Do you have a few minutes to join us for some audience questions?
Yeah.
Thanks. And audience, don't be shy. You can raise your hand if you're in the room, or feel free to join us via Slido. The Slido is open for your questions. Frincy, something that came to mind to me when you were talking about entrepreneur skills and about business skills and tech skills, the one area I thought was, maybe that got me thinking was, are there any sort of so-called soft skilled or complementary skills that you also think are a good indicator that maybe AI is a career for you?
Yes. So in AI career, the soft skills that you're looking at is more of business understanding and collaboration skills and communication skills. So with respect to collaboration, you're actually engaging with your stakeholders, business stakeholders, on an everyday basis to understand your business, what problems exist out there,
right,
and then finding the right use case that can be solvable by business. So for that, you need to have the business skills as well as communication skills. Now, for collaborative skills, what I mean is that you're working with a group of data scientists or software engineers. The AI team consists of different roles, so you need to collaborate with them to have this project up and running.
Right.
So these are the main skills I would say that is required.
Okay, so like teamwork and empathy are high up there. Okay, great. We have our first question here. AI, the community is very strong in urban centers like Montreal and Toronto, but this person is asking, what do we do if we're in smaller cities or markets that don't maybe have that community?
Yeah. So these communities, even though they do some local activities in a non-COVID period, right now you can almost access all of their events virtually, which is great.
Yes.
So, but they also have this combination of virtual as well as in-person events similar to this, which will enable you to get part of those kind of meetups.
Okay.
So if you for example, if you are in a smaller city and if you really want to go and meet some Toronto meetup, once in a while, if you go there, it will be great because you get to network with people. Sometimes hiring managers are present there. And in Women in AI, we had an event called as Y Connect, where we connect directly with hiring managers in a virtual get-together. So there are so much out there. You just need to look for it and just reach out.
Search the web,
Yeah.
reach out. I had a question that I was thinking about before I get to this next one about finding a mentor as well. Is it okay to just reach out to someone on LinkedIn, or how do you go about connecting mentors with mentees? What's the best way to find somebody to guide you?
Yeah. So of course, communities are a good way. So if you join a community,
Do you need
Oops.
me to show you how to?
I feel like maybe we need a mic. Is there a mic testing? Oh, did it get undone? Oops. Technical difficulties maybe are part of the hybrid world we are living in. Oh, good. Oh,
hello. Yeah. Sorry, we are back.
yay, we're back.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, the question was about finding a mentor.
Yeah. So these communities would have a mentorship program which you can tap on. The universities also has mentorship programs you can tap on.
'Kay.
I was part of one such mentorship where I got to meet a powerful lady from Microsoft, and she has helped me a lot to get into where I am today. And also, your alumni network is the great source to tap on.
Okay.
So when I did my master's, my seniors helped me a lot.
Oh, good.
So other than that, I have also reached out to LinkedIn, but you do not just add people, but when you connect, you send a message saying, okay, I am very interested in AI, and this is what I would love to do. Can you spare like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time to talk about AI? And on a week, I normally talk to at least 2 people.
Wow.
Because they reach out and they're so interested, even teens.
Okay.
I feel that you should not be scared or hesitant. You just have to reach out, and people will be willing to help you.
Okay, great. We have a couple questions here that have just come on in. AI is great for students at Campus Party to pursue a career, but what do I do if I'm 40 plus and I want to switch from a non-tech career like marketing?
Marketing, yeah, that's a tough question. So you have to find a marketing role or marketing product that uses AI. So that would be the best bet for you to transition, leveraging your current skills and also learning some AI understanding. But other than that, there is no age that is stopping you from getting into AI. Anybody can transition into an AI career if you have the time and the patience to put that effort and go through all these courses and understand it yourself and create your portfolio. Even a non-programmer can become a AI practitioner.
Okay, so there's hope for you 40-year-olds in the audience. I have a couple questions here that are, a little bit about the darker side of AI.
Yeah.
We have one person asking, your presentation was great, but what is this dark side of AI? And another person is, saying, I don't fully trust it. Maybe I have seen too many movies, but what are the dark parts, but who are also the good guys that we can look up to?
So the dark parts, I would mean that, there is a trust issue with AI because of, some models are not explainable or interpretable in a way. But there has to be some framework or governance that has to be in place for using AI responsibly. So for example, like in corporates, there should be a data governance and an AI governance team that should validate each and every model that comes out of your organizations. So, but also as an individual, right, it has to start from ourselves. So if you collect your data, if you use your model, you have to do in such a way that it has to be responsibly used, and the outcome should not affect any specific minorities or anyone who should not be affected badly. So a responsible way of AI should be there, and currently I don't think there is any government policies that is supporting it. Government has come up with PIA policies like privacy regulations.
Right.
But similarly, there should be some policies that has to be taken as Canada or as government
Right.
to use AI more responsibly.
Okay, so it's going to be top down and bottom up, you're saying. Individual users need to be aware of it. Governments need to take a harder approach to
Yes.
it. Okay, great. I know we're running out of time. I'm going to try to answer these questions, though. Canada has done a lot to make a great ecosystem for AI, but what advice can you give someone from other countries to learn, especially in Africa and Asia?
Great question. We do have chapters in Africa and Asia. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So if you can find some global communities, I've presented so many here, even though they're women, you can still join and be part of it. But there will be so many other communities out there that will be AI focused as well. But other than that, I have seen a lot of people, in my team as well as, who have immigrated from Africa, who has graduates or masters, and, with the data science background. So everything is online now. You really don't have to be in Canada to be a specialist in AI. You just have to get connected to the right sources, right mentors to kickstart your career.
Okay, and speaking of connection, my last question for you is how can people follow you, find you, join the community that you're part of, WAI? Where should we look?
Yeah, so you can connect me on LinkedIn. The name is Frincy Clement. And we have the website womenandai.co. You can also email us at canada@womenandai.co. So we'll be happy to help you in any way you can we can to take your career and help you, mentor you, and to get it into your dream career in AI.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Frincy, for sharing your knowledge and your passion with us today at Campus Party Canada. We really appreciate you being here. Big round of applause for Frincy Clement.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So maybe you could take it around the stage. And thank you so much. Great. So thank you so much. That was so wonderful. I'm thinking already about maybe getting into some programming myself. I'm excited to welcome our next